Welcome to Am I Too Loud, the podcast.
I need you guys to understand the level of crash out that I did not put myself through. Now, you might be wondering, Sophie, what do you mean? Because if you're watching this on YouTube, on the video portion of the podcast, I might seem a bit agitated. Guys, welcome to Am I Too Loud, the freaking podcast with Sophie, aka the mother freaking Odditty. I just recorded an hour. Are you kidding me right now? No, because that is just racism. The fire alarm going off for my Black History Month episode is crazy. I just want to point out that is not planned. We put batteries in that thing. And it should not be going off. I'm so embarrassed right now. At least that just made me laugh. Because as I was saying, back to me being serious. Guys, I just recorded an hour, 30 minutes. Am I Russian? Of straight banger. Like, I'm telling you, the words that I spoke in that podcast have never been spoken before. I was giving y'all hits back to back to back. An hour, 30 minutes. And you know what happened? You know what happened to that footage? It wasn't in focus. Now, if I look at this damn camera and it's not in focus, I swear to God, I will throw hands today. I am so over technology. In fact, I even try to fix it using AI. And this is why fudge AI from now till tomorrow. Because I also just paid 400 bands for an AI tool to de-blur the video. Did not work. So you guys probably wouldn't have even known that if I didn't tell you. And you know what's crazy about the fact that like this crash out was supposed to have happened and it didn't happen is the fact that honestly, I didn't crash out. Like, it might feel that way because I'm crashing out right now on camera. But when it happened, when I looked at my laptop, when I was downloading that file and I saw what my eyes saw, I promise you, I just looked. I just took a deep breath, breathed in and out, and I started looking at options. And that's how you know I have grown so much. Because Sophie of 2 years ago might have jumped out of her balcony in DC. And I have trigger warning. And honestly, with the way things have been going in my life lately, that might have been my 13th reason why. I'm telling y'all, I don't think you understand. The bangers from that episode that you're never going to hear or watch is something that like, oh, that would have been my break. That would have been my big break. I just know that episode that just was blurred was the episode that was going to make me make it. I'm so sure that was my big break. And the universe just said, maybe I need to hold on. Maybe it's not right now. Maybe it's soon. Because there's no other reason. There's no other reason for this. Okay, pause. All right, we are recording. When I tell y'all, and like nothing can mess this up right now. I swear to God. And the thing is, I wear glasses, so I can't even see. Like, I have my viewfinder in front of me right now, but I can't be positive that it's in focus because for me, I'm always a blur. And I'm recording this. I'm sorry. This is not really positive. Fuck it. I'm not trying to be positive here. I'm going through it. Guys, when I tell you that really happened to me and it wasn't necessary, like it really wasn't. The universe did not need to do that to me today. Like, I am so productive right now. This is a fresh episode. You guys are going to get it on Wednesday. I'm recording this Sunday night. I've drank my Red Bull. I don't drink Red Bull a lot, but I drank it today because I needed the energy. I've planned my week. I've done everything I needed to do. And I sat down, put all these lights up, set the camera on, put my earphones in, set everything up myself because I'm a boss ass bitch. And I sat here to come give y'all quality entertainment. And I was on it. And all of it, you know what? You guys don't care because you want me to get into the episode. So welcome back to Am I Too Loud, the podcast with Sophie, aka the motherfucking Oddity. Let's get into the episode. And honestly, because you guys didn't even know what happened the first time, I don't think you guys will understand how this is still going to be a banger episode because I still have a lot to say. And thankfully, I have notes. So like, we're not going to be struggling a little bit. I just know it wasn't the first. But again, what did they say about the first? I don't really know. The first isn't always the best, right? It might be a second time is the right time. Maybe. Well, guys, yesterday was Valentine's Day, and guys, I am currently married, single, and it's hella complicated. So my love life is simply that. I am a married, single, complicated relationship person. And what can I say? The struggle is real. This might have been the worst Valentine's Day I've ever experienced. And this has nothing to do with my partners. I think I am just in such a transitional space in my life right now that everything is a trigger for me. And it was just a really trigger heavy day. Just thinking about it, because there's a lot of think pieces about Valentine's Day and whether or not we like it, we love it, all that and stuff. But like I woke up yesterday, just first of all, the noise before Valentine's Day this year was a bit peculiar, wasn't it? Because I feel like the way it worked, usually like the couples are already soft launching before Valentine's Day. You know what I'm saying? Like usually you kind of already know, but like 2026, I already had a lot of breakups. There was a lot of breakups happening already that was giving me a bit of, what's going on in love. And then come to think about it, Valentine's Day happened and there wasn't as much love out there. Maybe everyone is just going through it. They talk about how 2025 was the year of the snake, and I feel like we're all thinking that exact same thing, because ain't no way guys, let me tell you, I was seated on the bathroom floor in a panic attack yesterday, crying my eyes out. Yesterday was Valentine's Day, crying my eyes out. And I can't tell you what's wrong because I can't overshare everything. Just know I will be okay. You know what I'm saying? Like I needed that cry. I feel like I kept saying, oh, I've hit rock bottom, and I keep hitting rock bottom. Every day that something happens, I keep hitting rock bottom. And the funny thing is, I'm realizing how your decision to accept something is the reason why your life might be the way it is. And I'll tell you that yesterday, right? Okay, first of all, Valentine's Day. Let's get into that. Rough. And I feel like when I think about all the Valentine's Days that I've had in the past, I've always been more of like, I wouldn't say a showy lover girl. I don't think so, because I have had like the whole like person surprises you, gives you the flowers and all that stuff, which was fun. And I love flowers. So I got sunflowers yesterday for Valentine's Day from my auntie. Let me talk about that real quick. So again, on the floor in the bathroom, sobbing because just having a rough day, not feeling very loved, not feeling very in love, not feeling like I love myself. I was down bad, and I am literally having a panic attack. Like I'm crying, like, oh my God, I'm bawling my eyes out, crying. Guys, I feel like you guys have seen me cry a little bit on my vlog channel, but I'm telling you, I am the ugliest crier, and I was crying, and I kept calling my best friend because she kind of like knows, like she's the only person I think I've ever called when I'm that down bad. Like when I'm crying in that way, she's the only person who I know that would know exactly what to say to me to get me to stop crying. But it was Valentine's Day, and my best friend is married, so this poor girl is trying to balance being a great best friend to me and also being a great, wife to her husband. And that in itself was a bit of a struggle because, she was in the car. I'm crying. I'm like, I'm dead. And she's like, I know. How can I help? But the man is looking at her like, girl, like, I just want to, I want to have some love time. So I felt really bad. So I got off the phone with her, and then I was like, okay, when like you're in that cry, like in that moment where, because I don't think I'm a solo crier. Like I'm the kind of person who likes crying by myself. I don't know if that makes sense. Like I don't like crying by myself. Like I need an audience. Like I need someone to see me cry because it just feels sad. Like crying, like, yeah, I can cry like a little bit. Like I can cry for like 2 minutes, and then the rest of the 5 minutes I need to be on the phone with someone because I will go crazy. Like someone needs to see me cry. Like it can't just be me just by myself, because then in my head, like if you're crying by yourself, you should be done really quickly. Like I don't think you need to be crying for that long of a time, because like if you're crying and then you're with someone on the phone, they can say something that could trigger more tears, or you're trying to explain yourself so the cry intensifies. But like when you're crying alone, it's like, okay, you're feeling the emotions, you cry, and then like if you're crying more, then you're just intentionally hurting yourself. And I feel like mentally for me, I just know that I really shouldn't be hurting myself this much, so I really should just stop crying. I don't know if that sounds crazy. So anyways, I'm crying this cry and I'm like, who can I call? And I remember that I have an estranged uncle who has the best ex-wife, auntie, who, if you don't know the lore, it's a long story. Just know that my uncle, who was like a blood relative, got married to this amazing woman, and she's my aunt through marriage. And I am very estranged with the uncle, but I fuck with this auntie heavy. So she's like the mom of me. And you know, I'm the kind of person who, well, I don't know if you guys are like this with your family, but when I cry, I like to say like I want my mom, because my therapist would say my inner child just really wants someone to like feel connected to and wants to be in my mom's bosom, whatever. But my mom is like a warrior. Like my mom is not the kind of person who, if I call her and I tell her, hey, like I'm going through something, she's going to be like, how can I help? And like, how can I like, it's going to be okay. My mom is more of like I'm going to panic too. Like, I can't have that. Like I can't have her calling me 5 times after my cry. Now she's crying and I'm crying more because she's crying, and now we're all worried. And now for the next 2 weeks, she's going to keep asking me if I'm okay because she's really panicking. And then she doesn't also live with me. So I just know my mom is not the right person to call in a state of panic. Now my auntie though, I've called her once, I think before, and she handled it perfectly. So this time around I call her again and I am bawling. Like at this point I'm having a whole panic attack. I don't know why I'm telling you guys this story. I'm going to continue anyways. I am bawling, having this panic attack. I'm screaming, I'm crying, it's heavy. And then she just tells me, breathe in and out. I think this is where I was going with that. And I just want to say that anyone who knows like how to calm me down in a panic, shout out to them. Like shout out to my auntie for real, because the way she calmed me down, okay guys, that breathing was rough because I have a cold, but God, I sound so congested. But you get the point. So she's like, breathe in, breathe out. And I appreciate that, because here's the thing. I love my friends, right? And I'm staying in a house with my friends. We're living together right now, and it's been really fun. And I am not the most, like, I don't love physical touch. It's just not my thing, right? So I realize why I don't like physical touch. And it's because I can't get past thinking about the other person. Let me tell you what I mean. So before I started the panic, I've already been crying. And I'm going upstairs to go cry in private because I have friends with me. And like, they're going to worry, of course. So one of them clearly sees me crying and he's like, are you okay? Do you need a hug? Okay, let's talk about that. When someone asks you, do you need a hug? There is no wrong answer except no. Like, I don't think I should ever, when someone says, do you need a hug? Like, that's just them telling me they want to hug me. Like, now I feel bad. If I say no, then I feel bad about it. I'm a people pleaser. I'm working on it. So I'm like, yes. Now here's the thing. I hate physical touch. And yes, hugs are great. But the moment we hug, I'm feeling more emotional now. Now I want to start crying some more. Now I'm conscious of the fact that I'm crying even more on you. Am I going to get snot on your shirt? You're hugging me now. Am I hugging you back in the right way? How long is this hug going to take? If I release this hug too early, does that mean you think I hate you? If I keep holding you when you're ready to release it, now we're in that awkward spot. And this is why I hate hugs. I hate hugs so much, because that awkward spot freaks me out. Like, because between the moment we start hugging and the moment whoever person chooses to let go, there's a power imbalance there, because we don't know who's letting go. Like, do I initiate the letting go? Then that means, would you hug me again? Because you might feel like I didn't really want the hug. Would you let me go? And in that case, like, was I doing too much? That's why you let me go. It's too much. That's why I say hugs. See, adapt. We're done. Easy. Even handshakes. Like, how long are we going up and down for? How long are we going side? Are we going sideways? Are we going up? Are you going in for the hug? Who are we holding hands? Are we rubbing the pinkies together? Like, it's too much. This is why physical touch stresses me out. Anyways, I'm upstairs and I'm still panicking. And I also, as I'm thinking about this panic attack now that I was going through, I'm asking me to breathe in and breathe out. I'm thinking about Karadec in High Potential, which is a show I've been loving on Hulu. And Morgan was having a panic attack, and they're like two characters in the show, and he's holding her while she's like, Karadec, no, leave me. And he's like just holding her down. And I'm like, see, I don't know if that will work for me, because if I'm telling you to leave me alone and you hug me, Would I like that? I'm not sure. Anyways, my auntie goes ahead to calm me down. I'm finally calm after talking to her. And she's not asking me, like, are you okay? Do you need to talk about it? And I hate that when I'm like crashing out. Like, don't ask me if I'm okay. Clearly, I'm not okay. I'm crashing out. She's not even asking me any of that. She's just like, breathe in, out. She's like, breathe out properly and take it back in. Her voice is so calming. And then after, she's like, what's your address? I'm going to send you something. And then she sends me sunflowers. And I think that's the whole point of this. It's because I was having such a bad day and she saw that and she chose to send me sunflowers, which is first of all my favorite flower. I literally have it tattooed on my hand. I don't know if you can see it. And that just showed me that if someone wanted to, they would. And it was just the intention of the act that got to me. And so when I hear think pieces on Valentine's Day where people are like, well, I'm already married to you, or you're already my girl, so like, why would I do anything special? Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you do anything special for someone you claim to love? That to me is crazy. I had this ex one time, honestly, that love him down. He was so great. He was so good. He was so sweet. But like, I remember I think something happened and he started getting me flowers because I was in my flower era and I love flowers, right? So he starts getting me flowers. And at some point, I think right after we broke up or before we broke up, I find out that the flowers were on a subscription, meaning he wasn't intentionally picking out flowers. He just did a subscription and then the flowers came. I think they were like every month or every week. I can't remember. But I remember when I found out it was subscription, everything that had happened, every flower he got from me did not matter to me anymore. Because in my head, I was just like, that wasn't intentional. Like, you didn't even think before, like, and even like if you forgot, maybe you didn't, or maybe you had a special note each time, like, I don't know. But the fact that it became transactional just made me not like the emotion behind it. Anyway, that's so random. I told you all that story, but that's also like something around Valentine's Day. Anyways, so Valentine's Day was yesterday, and I'm telling you that I'm learning so much about myself, especially around self-love. So I think yesterday when my aunt sent me those flowers, it just kind of made me just be like, oh my God, like, why was I sort of like sulking? And this is nothing to do with my love life at all. It was just like life itself was just happening like so dramatically yesterday. But that just made me realize how important it is for me to have intentional people around me. And I say that also because I wrote a Substack article this week. Your girl's on Substack, and I think I wanted to start Substack because you guys remember the era of blogs? Like, I used to be a blog girl. Like, the blogs were like, the girlies would be doing like fashion hauls and reviews and thought catalog, like all those like deep ass write-ups. That was my jam. The Wattpad eras, the Medium articles. I think Medium was even new. Like, this was like the SEO blog travel baddie, like saturation heavy like photos, like photo shoots on blog images, like the overlay photos. Oh, that was a time. So I feel like Substack is like very similar to that now, and people have been loving like that write up. It also makes me feel very introspective at the same time. Anyways, this week before Valentine's Day, I did an article that was titled "Women Need to Learn to Eat at Restaurants Alone" or something like that. Don't judge me, I forget the title, but it was something along those lines. And that came up, and I write about this in the Substack because I have a friend who has a partner, they're married, and they have a baby. And I was just telling her about my travel plans. She was telling me about she would really love to travel to X, Y, and Z place. And we're just yapping. I was like, oh my God, like, you should definitely go to X, Y, and Z place. It's going to be great. And it'll be so fun on a solo trip. And like, that way you can de-stress. And she's like, solo trip? Sophie, I could never go on a solo trip. I could never even go solo dining. Like, that is not for me. I would rather go out with my man. And I was looking at her like, huh? Like, what do you mean? And you know what? This is not even one of those, like, if it's just your choice, it's fine. I think more women need to learn how to be alone with themselves. I don't think a lot of women are comfortable with that. And it just got me thinking, I really realized that solo dating is such a phenomenon. It's such a new thing now for women, because I think a lot of people think if you see a woman alone at a bar, she's, single, she's asking for it. She might, I don't freaking know. And most people don't just think, oh, she's out there taking care of herself, going on a date, having a fun time. And I think that's lacking, for lack of a better word. I just don't understand why it is such an issue for people to go solo dating. Do you remember this, like the saying, treat yourself how you want, treat yourself how you would want others to treat you? For me, that happens in every freaking facet of my entire life, like, and especially around dating, around relationships. If I already buy myself flowers, if I already buy the most expensive things for myself, if I am someone who likes a quality lifestyle, it needs to be a lifestyle that I can afford for myself. So whoever is going to come into my life, who's going to be my partner, would understand that, because they would know me don't take nothing. Okay. I don't think nothing but the best. And if you love yourself so deeply, you would fall in love with your own company. And for me, I'm telling you guys, there's such a beauty in solo dating. There's such a beauty in getting dressed, putting some makeup on. If you don't like makeup, getting some clothes on, something you really nice, a nice little fit, and just going about your day. Let me tell you this. I grew up with a single mom. My mom is not, I wouldn't say she was the most fashion forward, girly pop woman. My mom was very much like a businesswoman. Like, she was she's going to the top of the chain. She's hanging with a lot of men. She's like she's a boss. She's a boss in her field. One of the only women doing some of the badass things she used to do. So I attributed success to that sort of fast-paced lifestyle. Like, my mom is coming, she's getting ready. She never really sort of took time for self-care. And I think when we think about self-care now, we think of something frivolous, right? Like, we think of burning candles, like fancy soaps, putting on a robe, red wine. Like, you think of slow and at peace. And sometimes it doesn't feel productive. It doesn't feel like something we should be doing. It feels like maybe an indulgence or a privilege, which it is. But I think there's a sort of envy I have for the women who understood the importance of self-care really early on. And I think I never understood the importance of it until recently. I'm the girl who, give me some Dudu soon, give me some Dove bar soap, I'm washing everything quick, I'm out that shower, I use a towel, I put some skincare on, I'm good to go. Where's my email? What do I need to shoot? What do I need to post? I never took the time to take care of me. And I just, now when I think about the girlies with the 5-step beauty routine, with the body oil, shower oil, bath bomb, this, that, I used to think, oh, what a privilege it is to have the time to do that. But I didn't realize the necessity of having the time to do that. I would always wonder how their nervous system was so regulated. But when you take the time to sit with yourself, to shower in the morning, to do the extra layer body scrub and body oil, do the extra layer for your skincare routine, put some nice music on, you are regulating your nervous system in such a way that it is so beautiful. When you're so accustomed to taking yourself out to experience new things, people cannot take you for idiots, because you know what's up. Nothing is new. When you are able to solo travel to new destinations, a random person coming at you with a vacation wouldn't sound like an innovation. It would sound like just a normal Tuesday or weekend in your life. People are going to come correct because of that, because of how you treat yourself. And it's something I am constantly learning about me, and I really want you guys to take that on too. And it doesn't have to be super expensive. It can be something as little as adding an extra layer of massaging your back as you're putting lotion on, as you're putting that Vaseline on. If you're a girly like me who likes to do also, maybe it's just romancing and massaging your body while you're using the soap. Maybe doing the African net sponge thing and then having an exfoliator if you can. Doing things that take the time to cherish you is such a game changer. And I think for me, self-care has been so important, because at the end of the day, like, that is just, it just really matters. It really does. So yeah, that's how my Valentine's Day went. And I was one of those people who was sat on the internet trying to see who's celebrating Valentine's Day, who's not, whose couple is posting, whose couple is not. And honestly, no one did. Like, I mean, I was used to Cardi B showing up with a million roses, but I now remember, like, oh shit, they broke up. So now we didn't even get Cardi B's roses. Kim Kardashian used to do the big Valentine's Day thing. You know what? As I think about all these celebrities that we watch and compare our lives to, and we realize, even with all that love bombing, it doesn't really matter, does it? The thousands of flowers if the relationship and the character is so terrible. What does that say about social media and public perception? Nah, I'm not playing. I'm so dead ass. It really is. It's important for you to not compare your life to people you see online. It just is. I think I love when Valentine's Day comes around and I see the girlies doing like galentines, and I see the couples enjoying themselves, and I see those who aren't because you can always tell the performative ones. Like, you can always tell the couple that like is doing and putting on a performance, and you can tell those who are genuine. And maybe not, maybe I'm just over because I don't know these people's lives. But what I do know is I think it's so important for us, the viewers, who are engaging in sort of like wanting romance and wanting all these things, to be very clear on what we actually want and what we love. Like, I remember when my aunts sent me the sunflowers, I was just thinking, oh my God, she knew me enough to not send me roses. She sent me sunflowers. Like, how very intentional, how very loving. Even I myself, when I think about that, I'm like, oh, these are things that I know for a fact I would do for myself that she did for me too. I don't know. It was just really special. And love comes in so many different facets. I know like everybody wants that romantic love. I think in general, they want that companionship. But I think it's such a beauty when you're so in love with yourself that when romantic love does come, it fits right in. It makes sense. It makes you happy. It makes you feel fulfilled. And I think Valentine's Day is such a beautiful day to express that love to your person. So also, sidebar / not really a sidebar, if you are someone whose partner is like, oh, I celebrate you every other time, why do I need to celebrate you on Valentine's Day? Move on. Get away from that person. Get away. Run away. Because have you ever heard of anything where you're telling someone, oh, this is a very special day, let's just make it extra special, and the person is like, nah, it's already special enough. Special enough? You say you love me, and the one day of love you don't want to show. It's like someone who's like with a partner who doesn't celebrate their birthdays, but you know your partner loves birthdays, and you don't go all out for their birthday. That's the idea of loving someone the way you want to be loved versus how they want to be loved, right? A lot of people struggle with that in relationships, and it's very telling to see. Anyways, this episode is not about Valentine's Day, even though we've just spent, I'm telling you now, guys, if this thing is not in focus, bro, guys, I'm telling you, this thing is stressing me out because it keeps going out of focus. And I am going to be so stressed if I find out it is not in focus again. I am trying everything. I am like, no. I messed it up. What did I do differently? I think it's me touching something. Hold on. Okay, we're not touching anything anymore, and we're just going to hope it's still in focus. Anyways, this episode is not about Valentine's Day. We are in the 100th year. It is the 100th year of celebrating Black History Month. Let's hear it for all the Black people in the world. Woo! But especially Black History Month in America. Now, here's the thing. Usually whenever I come on here, I feel like my episodes are oftentimes like very specific to the things I want to talk about. And I think whenever people think of Black history, especially because I know my audience is very Nigerian and American, it's interesting that sometimes we don't want to hear it. We don't want to listen. We hear Black History Month and we're already like, no thanks. Like, this seems so like not fun. So this episode might not be fun for a lot of people, but it is important and it is necessary. And I feel like I wanted to throw my voice in the conversation because Black History Month, I think, is so special for so many reasons. But one of those reasons is the fact that 1 in 10 Black people in America are immigrants. And about 4.6 million people plus are Black people in America. 1 in 10 of them are immigrants, and that's going to double by 2060. And just to give you an idea of the U.S. population, white folks are about 58%. Next is Hispanic with 19%, Black or African 13%, and then mixed people 4%, Asian 6%. So in many ways, they are, what's the word for it? They are, como se dice, a lot of us. And in the conversation on Black History Month, I think it's important to talk about my journey in America and how I think maybe not frustrating it is, but how interesting the world has become for so many reasons. And as I think about this, I'm drawn back to the last episode I recorded because, guys, I'm telling you, I was in flow state with that episode. And I'm trying to, like, you know, when your brain is trying to think about the things you said that were so great in that episode. And I know it's weird because you guys don't know the episode I'm talking about because you didn't hear it because it was blurred. I'm still frustrated about that. Can you tell? But I'm trying my best to not be dramatic. But yeah, so flow state, Black History Month, being an immigrant. So let's talk about this from the context of me. If you guys don't know, I'm Nigerian. It's something I tell people all the time. And I sort of move around with that arrogance of being Nigerian. And Black history isn't something that was taught to me growing up. I think in many ways, it was sort of something that we just sort of learned, especially as you came into this country. And as an immigrant coming into America, one thing I needed to understand, and I think that I feel like I was very intentional about, was understanding the people who are currently here. And I say that from the context of Shaboozey. So Shaboozey won a Grammy, and let me get my phone. Shaboozey won a Grammy, and Shaboozey, in that Grammy speech, which we're going to talk about here.
Damn. I just walked in here literally 10 seconds ago. I got a speech, man. I've never written a speech in my life, and yesterday I said, I should write a speech. And again, the last thing I want to say, immigrants built this country, literally. So this is for them, for all children of immigrants. This is also for those who came to this country in search of better opportunity to be a part of a nation that promised freedom for all and equal opportunity to everyone willing to work for it. Thank you for bringing your culture, your music, your stories, and your traditions here. You give America color. I love y'all so much. Thank you.
During that award sort of speech, Shaboozey goes ahead to talk about how he's, what is the word? He is, como se dice, he's a child of an immigrant, and immigrants built this country. And I think the uproar that happened with him saying that was essentially like, well, no, Black people built this country. And that's facts. Facts. So he goes ahead to then release a statement where he says, first and foremost, I want to express my deep gratitude to everyone who has supported and celebrated my journey as an artist. I also want to acknowledge the conversation surrounding my acceptance speech. To be clear, I know and believe that we, Black people, have also built this country. My words were never intended to dismiss that truth. I am both a Black man and the son of Nigerian immigrants. And in the overwhelming moment of winning my first Grammy, my focus was on honoring the sacrifices my parents made by coming to this country to give me and my siblings opportunities they never had. At the same time, winning this award on the first day of Black History Month and becoming the first Black man to win Best Country Duo in Black History. It stands on the foundation laid by generations of Black people who fought, sacrificed, and succeeded long before me. This moment belong to all of us. My entire career has been rooted in lifting people up, honoring where we come from, and expanding what's possible. I am proud to be a part of that legacy, and I intend to continue doing that work for the rest of my life. With love, Shaboozey. Now here's the thing. I totally understand where he was coming from in terms of saying immigrants built this country. But I think what a lot of us sometimes, especially Nigerian immigrants, because we sometimes suffer from what I like to call the immigrant Olympics. Let's use that word since Olympics is currently happening right now. The immigrant Olympics, where Nigerian Americans are a pretty solid ethnic group, or, ethnic group. I'm going to use the word ethnic group within the American climate, meaning we're the best of the best. Right, we're the ones in the fancy. If you see some student in America and they're talking about how this student just won all these awards and is going all expenses paid to like private school, Stanford, it's usually some Chibueze Ngozi something or Adekolakpo something. Like, it's usually a Nigerian name, not all the time, but most of the time, right? So there's a certain level of elitism and excellence that Nigerian Americans bring into the conversation. That aside, within the conversation of Shaboozey's speech, Black immigrants, they're not even immigrants. They're not immigrants, because immigration requires you to tell people, hey, I am coming into this place to migrate into this country for a reason. Even those who have to immigrate because they are running away from their home country to somewhere, a lot of those people are immigrants because they are migrating by choice to a country. Black people in America were not immigrants. They are not immigrants. They were taken. They were actually taken. Colonization made it so that white people went to Africa, went to these countries, they were not even countries at the time, most of the time, and sowed seeds of distrust, war, all that stuff, lied to the rulers and said, we want these people, took them on boats. Some of those people did not even survive coming here. We've seen the doors of no return. To then take actual people, humans, who they then turned into 3/5 of a human, to come to a country, to work, to toil, to build from the ground up the country that we are all enjoying right now. Black people made this country. And now let's not even talk about American Indians and all of that conversation, because I'm not even equipped for that. But you get the point. Like, we can't argue that. You cannot argue. That is a fact. So when I hear immigrants built this country, I say immigrants thrive in this country. Immigrants succeed in this country. The American dream is a reason because of the hard work. Like, I can't imagine an America where Martin Luther King didn't do an I Have a Dream speech. I don't think the world would be the same. The America we know now wouldn't be as receptive to Black immigrants like it is right now, no matter what. I think the world that we know now is possible because of the work a lot of Black people in America did to grow, to push for equality for them in this country. And the frustrations there is happening because that erasure is already happening. And even that grouping of Black people, not as Americans, but as an immigrant group, is also crazy. Because as an immigrant, like, I think about it in this way. Nigerian Americans are people who have both parents, or one parent is Nigerian, or Ghanaian Americans, or Chinese Americans. Like, your parents are, like, you know, they immigrated from this country, they stayed here, you were born in this country. So now you're Black American, but your ethnicity is still Nigerian because both of your parents are Nigerian. And so in Shaboozey's case, right, he's Nigerian American because his parents are Nigerian. His name is Shaboozey. Shaboozey. And so in many ways, he is able to pull from a Black American culture, but he is not Black American in the context of a Black American descendant from slavery. He is, like, for lack of a better word, he is in many ways, not even a better word, he is in many ways a product of immigration, right? And I think that's what he was talking about by saying how hard his parents had worked. But his parents wouldn't have a place to work if Black people didn't exist, didn't show up, didn't toil for the country that they are in now. So I think for me, I understand the frustration because I don't think you guys, unless you live in America, I'm telling you, I do not think the people can fully grasp how intense racism is in this country. And I don't think you understand. I think unless you fully live in America for a long period of time, you can never fully understand it. And I think even separately from that, where you live also dictates how close you are to the racism that is in America. And we talk about it, and I talk about it a lot when I think about when I was in college in Louisiana, which is deep in the South, and I was in orientation staff, and I don't even know how to explain this, but during that time I had a big who was this guy who was a white guy, and we were so close, and we went through orientation staff together. It was so great to me. And then when Trump won the election, I remember he was very vocal about going back to my country, and I remember thinking, I thought you liked me. Until this man went into office, I could have sworn you were going to come to Nigeria with me because you just love the culture. I think the current administration has done a great job at bringing out the demons that has been lurking underneath within the American conversation. Now, let me say this. I don't think it's surprising. And why I say that is because I always argue with people that humans are simply this. Like, we are the product of what we are. So I love to say this a lot. I have a master's in peace and conflict studies. And the one thing I learned with my master's is peace is not possible. Because to truly find peace, we have to sort of be at peace with ourselves. And I think that's a really big ask for a lot of people in the world, because peace requires each human to be at peace with themselves to foster peace in the world. That is something that I don't think is ever going to be possible. Because when we think about it, humanity and history is always moved in cycles, right? I think stuff like the Holocaust and the ethnocentric ideals that came out of those centuries behind us all happened because intermingling happened and folks started freaking out and saying, we don't want these people here, they need to go. Because one thing humans would always fear is the unknown. We hate the things we don't know. When we talk about trans people, when we talk about queer people, when we talk about a different culture, a different religion, humans oftentimes cannot stand things they do not know. And they could always learn about it. They could always be curious about it and try. But I don't know whether it's socialization, whether it's just how innate, whether it's biology, we are oftentimes not curious to find out. Because I wonder what a world would look like if we all just thought, the Super Bowl, the freaking Super Bowl. I wonder if, rather than saying, oh my God, I wish Bad Bunny was speaking English, we just said, oh, I wish I could learn Spanish. What a beautiful way to think, isn't it? Oh, I wonder if I could speak Spanish. So that way I could understand him. And now I'm even bilingual. We love a bilingual baddie. Or trilingual, if you already speak multiple languages. I don't know if that's the thing. You know what I mean? Like, what if that was the conversation? Because what's so funny is the feedback from a lot of people about Bad Bunny at the Super Bowl was, it's unfair because 310 million Americans can't speak Spanish. So how dare him perform the whole thing? And I'm like, dame la gasolina, dame la gasolina. Pam Gangnam Style, sexy lady, ho, 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 ho. What? Do you know how many songs we all sing when we don't know the words or what they mean? I mean, half of Asake songs, Asake, that was blowing up in America, people singing Yoruba word for word, bar for bar, not even knowing a clue about what it means, but they're singing it bar for bar. So I think we all have a little bit of fear around, the things we don't know. And I say the cycle continues because you saw that happen with the Holocaust and just a general push for just ethnocentric conversations. And then there was a time where people were like, that was really horrible. We don't want that. And an immigration soared. And I think we can talk about folks who immigrated to this country on green card lotteries or visa lotteries or citizenship lotteries. And, the brain dump of different people from Asia coming into America and vice versa, the boom of immigration to Ireland and London and the UK. And I think it's a very human thing and a society thing to then for all these people to go, ha, 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 this is too much. Let's go back to wanting it just for ourselves. And I think it's so funny, though, because when people talk about immigrants and immigration, I always think about this podcast episode with Whitney Adebayo and her sister. Whitney Adebayo is a Love Island UK all-star. And there was the most candid conversation I'd ever heard about immigration, because her and her sister were talking about how people from the UK are always yapping away about how they need to go back to their countries, and she was like, you guys made us come here, you took our resources, you took everything, now we like it here, now we want to stay, and now you're mad at us. And I was like, that is such an honest reaction to immigration policies right now, because a lot of immigrants, if you ask them, would love to be back in their home countries, would love to be back in their home countries. But the resources in their countries is what is fueling your country. So they're just here for the piece of the pie. That's the issue. And when I think about it, all these people that are talking about coming to the country, everybody in America is an immigrant. Weren't Americans like British white people who like ended up just saying, we don't like what's happening in Britain, let's come and settle down, and then they took over the people who were actually American, and then now America is the land of, I don't know what they think they are, but American values. And I'm thinking about it now, I'm like, y'all didn't really even like your place that you immigrated from, because me too, I don't want to live in Russia. Do you know how cold it is there? So I think it's very unfair for white people to come and be like, oh, go back to your countries, because you think I want to be in the UK. You guys get sun like once a year. Please. No, we don't. We're trying. If in fact, think about it. Ghana is one of the top exporters of cocoa and gold and shea butter and all these things in the region. And Switzerland and Italy and all these places are top exporters of this thing. And they take all these resources. You can think about the Congo, think about all these African countries whose natural resources are siphoned from them and are used to prop up these Western powers. If we said enough is enough, let us take our thing. Do you think anything would be working in America, in Europe? Like, it's so funny now when I think about the tariffs that are happening in America and how if people just deeped it, the Western world can't survive without immigrants in the Western world, because most of the things that fuel the Western world aren't from the Western world. And when I say the Western world, I honestly am just meaning America, especially because even the resources in this country aren't enough to fuel the country. Like, we know this. And that's the beauty of humanity. If we all realize that we're all sort of meant to work together. And I think it's so sad and it's so selfish that we live in a world where, of course, we're not doing that. And we use fear and we use greed, and it's always about money and capitalism, because this all sounds like nice, doesn't it? Like what I'm saying right now just makes sense. It makes sense to me. It makes sense that, you know what? Of course, my country is a shit show because of what colonization did to it. So I'm going to want a better place. I would love to be in my country, but I can't, because your country and your country people took so much from my country and you're still taking. So now I need to come to your country and live in it so I can make a better life for myself. And now you're mad at me. You're saying, go back to my country. Can I take my resources back with me? No. Well, damn. Now we're both at a standstill. Because then how's that fair to me? Because you knew what you were doing when you were taking my resources. You knew how good my country could get, but you chose not to let my country get good because you wanted to take all that goodness for yourself. And that is greed. That is human nature at its peak. And so for me, I think when we talk about immigration and Black history, I never want, even as an immigrant, to forget that the reason why there even is in America to immigrate to is because of all the work that Black Americans have done for this country. So happy 100th Black History Month. I'm thinking about Black History Month now, and it doesn't even hit the same. It's so sad too, because I remember when George Floyd happened and there was this hoopla around the world about it, and so many brands were pouring in, like you had Black History Month activations, you had all these things. Now you hear that? Nothing. I don't even think there was one campaign this year about Black History Month. I don't think there was one campaign. Like usually you'd see like Nike with like all Black athletes set up, or like some special drop of Black History Month awareness, 100 years of Black history. Not one brand did something bold, did something dynamic, did something historical, that we're having to now deal with a world where that's actually the reality, where people, it's just, I think for Black History Month, it's just sad now when I think about it, because I was looking forward to this month, especially because it's such a special month in America, because you sort of feel the pride of Black Americans, but there's so much around immigration and so much about like Black culture and Black culture losing itself that it's even becoming harder for people to talk about it, and we need to talk about it. So I understand the backlash around what Shaboozey said, because there is a conversation around immigration and people mistakenly looping Black people into that conversation, because again, Black people are not immigrants in this country. Because immigrants means you chose to come into a space. They did not choose to be here. But all the same, they've built this country to what it is now. And I think we all need to respect that. And also, if you're thinking about the Grammys, let's talk about Tyla. And had so many people being so upset with the fact that Tyla won the Grammy for African Artist of the Year, African Music of the Year, African Song of the Year. But I wasn't. I wished she didn't win, not because I don't fuck with her or anything, but I wanted someone else to win. But in the grand scheme of things, Tyla does have the numbers. And again, I think it goes down to like this Nigerian idea that we're like, you know, when you're in your own echo chamber, so you hear the same songs. Oh, this is like so new. But I think either Rolling Stone or Billboard just released an article where they said Rema is a one-hit wonder of the 20th century, or 2026 or 2025 or something like that. And they've been going in. Rema, a one-hit wonder. Do you know who he is? How many songs he has? Da 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 da. But one thing I got out of that conversation was, to the American public, to 310 million people, I don't think they would know Ozeba the way Nigerians would, the way Caribbean people might, because Ozeba was not Calm Down. Honestly, Calm Down wasn't even If by Davido. Calm Down was a generational run of its time, and that sort of push and fame that Calm Down got is something that would be super hard to replicate. I mean, Mona Lisa by Lil J, like these songs were amazing. They were incredible. They were so huge. But again, Calm Down, Selena Gomez, that was a time. That was bigger than what any of us could ever imagine. So on that perspective, I don't think they're wrong. Because Calm Down was huge. It was massive. And I think even Rema is set for life with that with that song. Like, he's set for life. A lot of people are upset about it, rightfully so, because they're like, we know Rema, we know he's not a one-hit wonder. But again, we forget that the Grammys is an American institution, and America has 310 million people, maybe even more, and most of them would not know who Rema is. And I think this is what happens when maybe all the social media in the world is sort of controlled by one person, right? Because in this scenario, America sort of is what is pushing the narrative in like different countries, and that's what we all sort of look to, like that world power, right? So big news like the Grammys, Hollywood, Golden Globes, all these things are very much centered around America. You see British actors wanting to come to America, Chinese actors, Korean actors, all want to come here. So that is also there. Anyways, I say all that to say Tyla dominated. She won the Grammy. People were mad about it, but again, it's America. It made sense. If you're an American watching that, it would have made sense that she took it, because if anything, people were going to ask, who is Ira Star? Who is Davido? Like, maybe not who is Davido. No, I would say that, because compared to Tyla, Davido might still be a big superstar, but just not on her level. Like her generational run, especially being able to, that girl is in Japan, guys. Japan. She's conquered Asia, Africa, Australia. She is fully a global superstar. Like, we can't knock that. And even though we, as African, and especially with Afrobeats, if that award was like an Afrobeats Artist of the Year, maybe I would have felt differently, because then I would say, oh, maybe Tyla is a lot more pop. But it says African artist, so I'm guessing that just means the artist is from the continent of Africa. And in that situation, then Tyla is one of the biggest artists out of Africa right now. We might not like to hear it, but it is fact. Anyways, so let's turn to IShowSpeed. Now, this is something that when I found out that Speed was going to do a tour with Africa, I was a bit concerned, I wouldn't lie, because first of all, I know streaming, but I've never fully sat down for a stream. I think the only stream I've ever fully watched, and maybe not even sat down for it, just watching clips online, was Kevin Hart with Drewski and Kai Cenat, which is, I love Kevin Hart, so fantastic. But this one I was very curious about, and when I found out he was going to Nigeria, just, if it's about to do my country, I want to clock in. I want to see what's going on. We're not going to talk about Nigeria's stream. If you know, you know. I don't need to add any more to that conversation. There's nothing else to say. We're just gonna move on from it. But I think what Speed did for the African continent is something that we wouldn't even know the impact of it for a really long time. And I say that to say that there was a lot of conversation around people saying they didn't even realize Speed was that big in Africa. And then some stupid people saying they didn't even realize that, Africans had access to phones or internet so they could stream someone like Speed and be huge fans of him. And to that I say, open a book. Yeah. And to the other point I say valid, because I think when the thing that most Americans know about Africa is simply that, Africa is what the kid with the flies around their mouth, Mr. Beast philanthropy with trying to, build villages and give villages water. And that is a part of it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, but, Africa is very, very developed and everything is great, because that's not true. Maybe 40% is developed and 60% isn't. And that is something that we as Africans need to wrestle with, that the continent still has a lot of growth that needs to happen. Nigeria, one of the giants of Africa, still has a lot of growth. But I think what Speed did was show the really good parts, the really bad parts, and the in-between parts. And every country, every continent has that too. Like, there are places that look like third world countries in America, in Asia. There are places that look like third world countries all over the world, not only within the continent. So I think it was so fun to see him sort of explore, and there were so many think pieces about whether or not he should have, been more intentional, gone to visit historic sites, And I was like, that was what? He's just turned 21. That's a 21-year-old streamer. None of those kids watching that man want anything educational. They want to have fun. And he did a good job of keeping the energy bubbly, still teaching. I remember there was something in maybe Egypt or Ethiopia around diamonds. I can't remember the country, but essentially he visited and there was a museum and he was talking about, can I buy a diamond? They're like, oh, only 3 companies in the world can buy diamonds. And I was like, that seems weird. Why would diamonds from a country that has a lot of it only be given to 3 vendors for the entire world? That's suspicious. That's weird. That is something that would have been harder for someone to share because the government would have tried to cover it up. But if you're live on stream, you're a 20-year-old boy who's just asking crazy questions or curious questions, and those answers are there, it lets other people start questioning a lot of things. I know when he went to Algeria, there was a lot of racism that happened within the Northern African space, and a lot of people were very shocked by that. If you're an African, you're probably not. If you're a Black Muslim, you're probably not, because racism exists within the Arab space heavy, okay, especially North Africa. And the crazy thing is just seeing people call Speed a monkey, or just, I saw the recent post where Barack Obama and Michelle were also called that. It's the stupidest thing. Do we know how stupid racism is? Like, I don't think you guys understand. Like, it is different. Let me just go on a rant real quick. It is different if there was some biological visual thing we could see that made races better than the other. And I mean unequivocal thing that we can argue. Like, clearly, because you're white, you're Superman. Like, that level of, oh yeah, you're superior because you're Superman. If we could see that, I would understand racism. But no, you just think you're better than everybody because you didn't get toasted as much as I got toasted under the sun. And first of all, everybody likes their toast a little bit brown. Some people even like it crispy. Some people like eating the food that is dark and burnt because it even tastes better sometimes. Nobody likes bland food, right? And I'm not saying but I'm just saying most of the time it's the seasoning people even like. That's human nature for you. So to me, when I hear or see the argument around, racism, it just, I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. It makes no logical sense to me. And it's not supposed to, because it's a society construct. But like, how did society get to that point? I know it's something I should probably read up on, but how does a society get to that point? Because at the end of the day, when we all die, we die the same. You're just bones, just like me. You're bones like me. We're bones together. Our brains are the same. Sometimes I'm even smarter. I just don't understand it. And the people who seem so vehemently sure that they are better than other humans in the world have nothing but audacity and belief, because that's the only thing. Because I can just wake up today and say, I'm better than everybody else. And I can just think that and behave like that. And if I have a lot of money, then that means that I am right, apparently. It's all about money, isn't it? It's all about money and power. It is all about money and power. Ooh, child. Okay, so guys, where was I? Speed. Yeah, so it was just interesting. I really enjoyed watching the stream. I'm not gonna lie. I just watched Nigeria, Ghana, and I think I watched Namibia. I really thought he was gonna do the dunes in Namibia because I really, really want to go visit that. But I think he did like a village of topless women. I'm not sure. I think that was the clip I saw, and I was like, I've seen a lot of titties in my life. It's fine. It might have been more than titties. I'm not gonna lie, and this is me just being honest. But I did see some titties, and I was like, well, I don't know if this is for me. I love titties. I'm just saying. I don't know why I need to reiterate that. But yeah, so it was really fun. The Ghana stream was really nice. I will say that I felt like it was a bit unfair because his bodyguard was Ghanaian, and so I think there was some level of, cheatation going on from that point. But also I saw his South Africa stream, and I think he went to Rwanda. I know he went to do the gorilla trek, which I think is iconic, and I need to do that in my lifetime. But yeah, so that was really fun. And again, I love that he showcased the continent in a way that was raw, was unapologetic, was human, was fun, was engaging. I don't think anyone has done that. I mean, Speed traveled to Africa in a way that I don't think even Africans can travel to Africa. I don't think any African is going to be able to do that. Like, the access alone that he was able to bypass and get because of his notoriety is something that not a lot of Africans can do. I mean, I'm thinking visas, I'm thinking immigration folks wanting some bribes, I'm thinking all that coordination just to travel within the continent, and how he had to have handled that to make it work. Insane, just insane. So shout out to his team for killing it. A girl could dream. I wish Africa was open to everyone to travel in that way, because it's such a beautiful continent. Countries are amazing. The people are so welcoming, as he saw. And I saw a lot of TikToks also about people are like, oh my god, everyone feels so welcoming, so sweet. I'm like, yes, because that's what human nature is, and that's what humanity is. And I think that's why Black people just get colonized more. We're too nice, bro. I'm telling you, we're too nice. Because I'm thinking about the Africans and how just welcoming they are to different cultures. Oh yes, come and settle down, come and take land for free, and then before you know it, now you're the one that's walking on the land that you gave someone. Hey guys. The last thing I want to say is, if you're a continental African, if you're Nigerian American, if you're Black American, if you're Caribbean, if you're Afro Latina, the difference between all of us is the boat that got us to where we are. And we're just like that Spider-Man meme where we're all pointing at each other, because at the end of the day, we are all Black. And I kind of oftentimes feels like this, I look at it from, like when you are running a race and maybe you're trying to get something. Let's try that. You're trying to get somewhere, and something is stopping a group of you, and so you keep fighting within your group to get past that thing, but the actual culprit is the person that puts the thing there in the first place. That's what this is. Like, if we all are mice, right, and there's some study going on and we're all just fighting within this study, and these mice are fighting each other and we're going at it, but the scientist is observing the mice and just shaking their hand and watching and being like, interesting. That's what it feels like sometimes. It feels like a simulation, because when we point fingers at ourselves and we're cursing each other out, and we're, talking about how, we're FBA Blacks versus Nigerian American, or I'm Ghanaian American, oh, I'm Nigerian, I'm Ghanaian, oh, I'm South African. At the end of the day, the colonizers are watching and being like, yes, look at them go on fights. they're watching. They're watching, they're encouraging, they're excited for it. Because when that infighting is happening, you're so busy fighting each other, you don't realize you've already lost. Like, you're not even fighting the actual battle. The battle has been lost the moment you started fighting each other. We're literally just beefing. We're beefing over crumbs. We're fighting over crumbs. We're fighting over the little pieces that are left when there's so much more. And the moment we realize that, the moment things sort of like work out for us, I mean, we're all stuck together and it's really, really complicated. But at the end of the day, I know we have love for each other. And so this Black History Month, I think I just want to sort of like shout out I think Black people. Let me do like some Bad Bunny shit real quick. Hold on. Okay. We're going to try now, you guys. This is crazy. But I'm going to try to list out some Black ethnic groups. Shout out to the African Americans, so descendants of enslaved Africans in the U.S., Afro-Caribbean nations like Jamaica, Haiti, Trinidad and Tobago, people of African descent, Afro-Latinas and Latinos in Latin America, Garifuna, Central America, so mixed African and indigenous ancestry there. Shout out to the Black immigrants, Sub-Saharan African nationals, so individuals born in African nations that immigrated into the United States, Black Hispanic people, so people who identify as both Black and Hispanic, colored people from South Africa, a distinct category themselves of mixed ethnic groups. Colored people in South Africa, a distinct category for people of mixed ethnic group or origin during and after apartheid. Shout out to Yoruba people, Nigeria, Benin and Togo, Igbo, Southeastern Nigeria, Hausa, Northern Nigeria and Niger, Zulu, South Africa, Fulani, Fula across West Africa and the Sahel, Akan, Ghana and Ivory Coast, Wolof from Senegal, Gambia, Mauritania, all the African countries, Mande, West Africa, Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo, Amhara, Oromo, Somali, and so many more. There's so many of us, so many of us, and sometimes it's complicated, sometimes it's hard, but at the end of the day, one thing I know is we're not breaking up, we're stuck together. And it is the 100th year of celebrating Black History Month in America. And I know for a lot of people who are watching this, you're like, oh, in America it doesn't matter around the world, but as we all know, anything that happens in America has one of the biggest impacts across the world, because that's just the way it is. So shout out to all of us for staying at it, for keeping safe and sane. Shout out to Black Americans who built this country from the ground up. And yeah, guys, that is the end of Am I Too Loud, the podcast with Sophie, aka the mother freaking Oddity. I think this went well. I'm still, if you guys were here from the beginning, I'm salty about that first podcast episode, because I feel like I missed some things. If this is not focused, you guys are taking it as it is. I don't care. I don't care, because I'm done, Grandpa. I'm done. It's been hard, man, all these days. But I feel like the link is focused, so we should be fine. If not, I'm just gonna upload the audio and call it a freaking day. But I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for commenting. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share this with everybody if you want to listen to it. If you enjoyed the episode, if you have your own thoughts on it, let me know. I always like when I feel like I'm able to talk about some things like from an educational point of view, but also from a fun point of view. So if you think this was a good mix of both, let me know, and I'll see you guys in my next episode. Again, Wednesdays at 12:30. Don't forget to leave me a voice message on the podcast at amitoloudpod.com or amitoloud.com, and I'll see you guys later. Kisses. Ew, that was not a sexy kiss, Sophie.